Okay people, I promised you I would see if we can do all the same things we could do with epoxy with this clear polyurethane resin. This is the one that cures within 1 hour. Incredible. And if you've seen my previous video, I'll put you a link at the end. I've had a good testing of this, and I'm also testing it under an ultraviolet light to see how UV resistant it is. So this is another public service announcement. I'm going to be testing it on various other things to see if they still work. So I've got myself a little holly mould here. Isn't it cute? I'll put you the link for the mould in case you're interested. And I will also obviously put links for this stuff down below. Good news I've just had literally in the last 10 minutes, and I am filming this on the 7th of December. Have I got my dates right? Yeah, I think so. Anyway, 2023. Good news is that Just For You Online are looking at producing this stuff as well. And it should be available in the new year. And yeah, so watch this space. I will keep you posted. So, armed with that good news, I'm going to work my way through a few obvious things, which I'm going to just cram them all into one video because it's going to be quick, and I just want to basically make a few items and see, you know, does this stuff work for the common types of things that we might normally do with polyurethane, with epoxy resin. So, first of all, I'm going to have a go at putting mica powder onto a mould. Then I'm going to, I'll probably use the little cloud again, I'm going to try colouring one with inks. I'll get some other little moulds out. We might try colouring it with a pigment, with some mixing mica powder in, just all the popular things that we tend to do with these sort of, normally with epoxy, and just see if this does the same job. This does cure within an hour. The only drawbacks I found so far is it's not quite a one-to-one, which for the hard of thinking like me is a bit of a pain, but I have just plopped it in and put some of that and a little bit more of that, and it's worked so far. Sort of eyeballed it almost. A bit worrying really. Anyway, but it worked. And because it takes an hour to cure, that is, bearing in mind we've got 2-hour cure epoxy out there, and you know, it's not the massive advantage that it would otherwise have been if it was like a 20-minute cure like the white ones. Yeah, really, I think that's the only disadvantages I've found so far. You still need all the same PPE, of course. It's still, look at this. It's still really horrible, horrible stuff, either separately or when combined together, as exactly is all epoxy resin too. So let's get PPE'd up, and I'll work my way through just a load of quick clips showing you the different techniques. I won't take too long over them, and we'll give you a verdict at the end. Right, first of all, let's try the mica powder brushed in. Going to have to rattle through these fast. You don't get much pot time with this. As you can see, I've put slightly more of one than the other in these pots. I'm going to tip them in to a slightly bigger pot and get mixing. I've also got some holographic moulds. Put those pots to the side so I know which is which, so I can reuse them. And we're going to get stirring. Now you don't get much pot time with this, so I'm probably doing this all in the wrong order. A chameleon powder. I'm not going to do these properly, by the way. I should be putting the colour in to the leaves and all that sort of thing. Not going to, you know, berries and whatnot. Just splashing it in. So let's try the mica flakes. This all depends on the mould, of course, as to whether it sticks or not. Oops, overfilled that rather. You've got about 10 or 15 minutes pot time, tops. Depends how warm your room is. I have found that this stuff does exactly what it says on the bottle. You can go by those timings. My room is slightly cooler than the temperatures they state. It is about 19 degrees, whereas they say the temperatures that they quote for curing times are more around the sort of 20-21 degrees mark. Okay, let's just chuck some in one of these. And then I'm going to put some into another little pot. So we're going in with a lot of lovely turquoise mica powder. Incidentally, all the colours I'm using are from Resin, except for when I get onto the liquid pigments, I've just grabbed a few random ones, God knows where they're from. I'm going to chuck that in here. And as I mixed up a bit too much, let's put some in the pores of, see, this is what I meant about just grabbing some moulds and chucking it in. Got some teddy bears here. Let's get more on shot. There we are. Let's do some teddy bear paws. I'll try to find all these moulds for you to link them, but obviously that's not really the purpose of this this video. So if I do, when I'm linking up the videos, the stuff, if I do miss one of the moulds or something, just shout at me and I'll go find the link. Right, this is starting to really thicken now, so let's clean the sticks up. I'm going to reuse the pots once they've dried anyway. It's still pretty liquidy in here, so in here we are going to put a solid pigment. Where's this from? I don't even know where this one's from. This is a normal liquid pigment that we would normally use with our epoxy resin. Looks like it mixes fine, as far as I can tell. Yep, that looks okay. I'm going to lob that in. Let's have another teddy bear. This mould's not terribly clean. I should have cleaned it first, but never mind. That's another holographic. Where shall I put the rest of this? Let's pour some in this teddy bear. If the colours all blur, it doesn't matter. Let's just see what happens. Is this fun for you lot to watch? Because I'm actually having fun. You know, speed messing. That's what we should call this, speed messing. Okay, so that does evidence that I had got enough pot time to have a good mess about. So there's a bit less panic with this one maybe than there would be with the white or the black, which cures so much faster. Okay, on to the next. I'm going to need to mix some fresh up, of course. We are going to try, this might be a bit brave, I'm going to try the Petri effect. What I'm going to do is like you would with a Petri effect. It's a long time since I've done it, but let's try it. So forgive me if I'm not doing this properly. So it's got to be a year since I last tried this. Right, I'm allowing a little bit of space, got a bit in there. A little bit of space for the fact that inks have got to go in, and we'll probably want to back it. Now, to do the Petri effect, normally you've got to leave it so long for it to thicken. I don't know if we've got a thickening time with this. Oh, you can use a torch on it, by the way, if you are concerned about bubbles. Obviously, probably better with a long neck torch rather than a set fire to your house thing like I've got, because it can obviously damage the moulds. However, I've just grabbed a couple of random inks. I used to think they're inks. You notice I'm doing a bit of a blue theme. Now that is already quite thick. Okay. Looks like it's actually sinking already on its own. Oh, it's because it's a pigment, not an ink. Right, okay. So I am doing this all wrong, but you know, hey. I'm playing. I've got the C Deeper. I'll have to be fast here, aren't I? C Deeper is from Resin. It's a Sinker White. It's quite a lot, so let's get some more colour on there. I've got a feeling this is going to skin over. Oh, God, I'm making a right mess of this. And of course I'm going to need to mix a little bit more up to finish my teddy bears. I wonder what the sinker will do just in the... is that already curing? Oh gosh, it is. Look at that, that's gone thick already. Right, so no more messing with that. I wonder if that'll give anybody ideas. The fact that you can swirl on the back like that. That does mean I need to get in here and give these a swirl pretty sharpish. You see, it's created a skin. So this might not Petri at all. Daniel, here's one for you to experiment with. Can you get this stuff to Petri? I'm going to leave this one alone because I want to see what that does. Now, let's see if we can draw. And it stay like it. You know, normally you can't draw into your resin because, look at that, too easily, because it then moves and you're thinking, oh, I wish it stayed like it did at the start. I'm sure you can achieve that with epoxy, but can you do it that quick? Don't know. Right, we might have found something, and I'm thinking this Petri effect that you can't do with this stuff. So let's see what this lot does. I'll be back with you in an hour, by which time it will have totally and utterly cured, I know, and we'll take it from there. Right, just realised I went off camera some there, so I've tried the Petri effect in these. That is just pigment, mica powder, rather, mixed in properly. These are the two, that's chameleon powder, that's chameleon flakes. Over here we've got powder and flakes and just a bit of green pigment, and these are, others are various, just mixing in ink and pigments. I was just chucking bits in. And over here we've got, of course, our holographics. So apologies for that. And yeah, back in an hour. Right, it's been over an hour actually. I went and had a cup of tea and something to eat. Let's see what we've got. Okay, holographic works. Fine. The weird splodgy mess I made here. That's made an interesting surface texture. And yeah, it stayed put. Holographic works on clear. That's all of those, isn't it? Yeah, right. Holly. Let's have a look and see if the flakes worked. Yes. Sorry, that was the powder. This is the flakes. Yes, obviously how well it works depends on your mould. Right, this one I put the pigment on the back and it's coming off on my thumb. Then again, I think it would have done if it was on epoxy as well, because it sat on the surface, didn't it? But anyway, let's see if it's showing through okay. I think it's still very slightly soft. As I said, it is cooler in my room. Isn't that a nice mould? I need to do that properly later. But yep, pigment sprinkled on worked. You'd probably want to back it. What else have we got? Right, this was the powders again. Yep, worked. Would be better with black on the back, but the whole point was to test the this new stuff. Right, so those worked. This is with the mica mixed in. Looks just like epoxy to me. Right, now these, this will be interesting. This is where I was trying to do the Petri effect. Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't get anything like a Petri effect, but isn't that interesting? Because the inks and pigments and the white did something really strange. It went all like a film, and then as I swirled and pushed it down, I got this. Can you see that? A weird texture. That's got potential, hasn't it? That could be a whole new thing. I don't know. All I know is you'd have to back the back with something because it sits on the surface to a degree. So it might have done that on epoxy as well, the way I did it. I was making a bit of a dog's dinner of it, wasn't I? So you would want to back this with some clear. Ooh, definitely. Excuse me while I retrieve that one from the floor, but look at that. I think this one might be an over to Daniel. I'd love to see what you can do with this, Daniel. have fun. I'm going to have a play with it as well, obviously. Okay, just leaving the bears. Well, I just chucked stuff in these, so we'll see what happens. This one I put the last of my white sinker in with it, which isn't the right thing to try to colour with. It is still slightly soft. It is, I think the temperature change in this route, I'm going to have to go and wash my hands really thoroughly after, aren't I? I should have my gloves on. Oh. Yeah, anyway, right, I'm going to leave these another half an hour to cure, I think. This one, did I fill him right? Yeah, I was just lobbing stuff in, but I don't think I filled him up properly. So he's a bit skinny, and he's got no arms. But you can see that the colour pigment, liquid pigment, yep, that worked fine. That's what we used on this as well. Then I messed about with the white on the back of it, if you remember. Also worked totally fine. Nice shiny surface. This one's going to be messy on the back again because the pigment sat on the surface. But let's see what it looks like from the front. Oh, you see, look. There has to be some potential for that. I can feel the jewellery phase coming on. Right, that is something I'm going to have to play with, isn't it? These effects. As I say, I'm hoping that those of you who are good at the Petri effect, Daniel in particular, I hope you'll take this on and have a go with it too, because that's amazing. Right, I've got a clean up job to do here, obviously, and I'm going to put a bit of clear, probably UV, on the back of this, just to seal it, because it's getting messy here. Right, I'm going to go and wash my hands. If you've liked this video, if you found it useful, I hope I'm sharing some useful insight with you here. Look at that mess. This is very much a customer service video. That definitely sat on the surface and needed sealing in properly, didn't it? And I definitely needed my gloves on as a result. Anyway, yes, very much a informational video. I've made a total mess. Some's worked, some hasn't, but I hope it's given you some insight into this this clear polyurethane resin. If you found it interesting or useful in any shape or form, feel free to drop me a like and subscribe if you haven't already, of course, and pop me some questions down below. I'm happy to field questions on this. If there's anything you're wondering, does it work for this? Trying to get cleaned up here, then please do shout, because I'm quite happy to. Well, I've got it, because it's not cheap. That was £26, something like that, for those two smallish bottles. So while I've got it, to save you testing everything and save you some pain, just drop me a comment and let me know what you'd like me to try, and I will very happily have a go for you. Then you can decide whether you want to go ahead and purchase or not. In the meantime, we should have the version from Just For You Online, try that again, Just For You Online, available in the new year. I'll keep you posted on that front too, and then we can have a play with that as well. And that one, I'll be able to get you a discount code on, which is probably, that might be worth you waiting for. So have a think, let me do the testing for you, and let me know what you want me to test, basically. Then in the new year, when we've got a discount code for Just For You Online and they've got their range out, and I'll let you know as soon as that's available, we can all go crazy. Right, I'll see you soon, folks. Bye.